going to pick up my brother right now. I try and help out. I think it's usually 3 times a week. Usually once I finish at the barn, I will drive and go pick him up. And honestly, it's almost an excuse too, because I get to go to Barnes & Noble. I love Barnes & Noble. If he's a little later, then I can do work, which is always great. And then 2, I don't think people realize when you have the barn at your house, you don't always have to leave for things. I'm extremely blessed to have a living situation where I am with my family, and there's a lot of things that I don't have to personally do and a lot of expenses that I have to cover. So a lot of times, most everything I do is from home. So, I don't need to leave my house like ever. So going and picking up my brother is just like, it's a nice way to get out of my house. I get to drive down the road, my windows down, and sing, and it's just nice. So I'm gonna go pick him up. It is currently 9:51 on Tuesday. I'm starting things late because I got very distracted and decided to play piano for the past hour. So now it is time to get the day started. So for today, I have my little journal. I drafted out some chapters yesterday for my novels. It's Tuesday. I sent off a chapter a week ago to be edited by one of my editors, so I'll be receiving the chapter tomorrow probably, since it was a larger one. Today I'm going to plan on editing the 6th chapter to be sent out, and then I did a lot of this stuff yesterday, and then continuing on to the other page we started to do it. I'm gonna do that. That's definitely gonna be one of my for sure things, so I don't have to worry about it tonight. And I really need to start editing the other book. That one did go off to an editor, and I need to start reading through that and then continuing on with writing. If you did not know, I write under multiple pen names. There's one main one that I write under, and then there's another one that's completely separate that I will not disclose just because I like to keep my writing very separate from me. I write a lot of different types of novels. Right now we have 5 different ones that I'm currently vaguely working on. There's 2 in particular that I am focusing primarily on. One of my pen names, I write books that are very much like Game of Thrones-ish, and then soon I'll be writing under my own name, hopefully at some point, doing some like equestrian type stuff. I've had people ask me if I would write like almost like middle grade young adult books with horses. My other one is just a lot more, I think I would consider it to be romance. It's not dark romance, but it's definitely like edgy. Everything I write's edgy though. That's why this equestrian one that I've been working on drafting out vaguely, and I've written about 20,000 words on it. It's just really difficult for me because I typically write fantasy with a lot of grit. I'm saying like Game of Thrones. I can't write that on this series, especially also having to keep in mind that it's gonna be for like a middle grade young adult kid. It's pretty difficult. So I'm gonna start working on this and this. Luckily I've handled most of my emails, and I also have multiple videos to edit, so I don't know how much I'm gonna get done in an hour and a half, but we're gonna try and get something done. out today. But my horses are outside. It's supposed to be raining today. It was supposed to already be raining. It rained for a few minutes and then it stopped and then it's supposed to start back up. So I am inside right now. I am waiting until the rain ramps up. Let's see, it's 8:38. I think it's supposed to ramp up at 10, I think. So I'll bring it in at some point. I'm just kind of working through things. Like one of my favorite things to do, I love this person's YouTube page. And so I usually listen to this pretty much all the time. And then I have my sticky notes over here for what I need to do. I got a lot of recording done, some editing done yesterday. I finished a video for a separate channel. I did a lot of things, but then at the same time, like my farrier came, so it kind of put me behind. But my mother has a procedure today, which is kind of changing everything, and it's gonna be interesting bringing the horses in by myself. It's so funny, I swear, every horse wants to come in at one time, and you can't take everyone in at one time, and my pastures are so far back that, you know, it's not like the same as if you have your pastures right at your barn. It takes a little bit to bring everyone in. So we're gonna see how that goes. Afternoon now. Just trying to do a few things before I go to bed. It ended up being like off and off raining today, and so I didn't ride just because I had initially planned for today to be off. I went out and I spent some time with my brother, and then my mother had a procedure, so I was running around also getting food, but I did get a few things done. What I think I'm gonna do is at the end of this is I'm gonna actually put like a recap of everything I was able to get done. But I finished up a chapter for the novel. I did about a little bit over 1,000 words in about 30 minutes, which is pretty good. I got a video done for something, and then did some text and emails, and did get my chapter back from my editor, but haven't done that yet. So I don't know if that's happening tonight. Might be happening tomorrow. It's another rainy day. I think it's important to be honest, and rainy days don't do well for me. Just have never done well with the rainy days. I have some work that I need to do, but I'm gonna toss that to the side and go to Michael's. I've not been to a Michael's in a very long time, but I'm trying to expand in my mind some like smaller scale businesses that I can physically do in a short period of time that I know that I can do and have success with it. I still have some of my old supplies. I don't have all my supplies. I'm not going to be able to do it to the scale that I once did it, but I can definitely kind of get back to that scale. A lot of people don't know. I used to do a lot of art, and I used to make things. I don't know if I've always been this like entrepreneur mindset. I think like between 10 and like probably 14, I would make halters for Breyer horses and then sell them on places like eBay for $4 or something. It didn't take me too long. It was just like really you needed like certain tools, and then I'd make them and I'd sell a bunch, and I'd make, for a kid that age, I would make a couple $100s off of it, and I just never like kept it up super good, or I probably could have made a lot more and
Marketing nowadays, I actually understand. I am not a 10-year-old kid anymore. So, and then as well on that same front, I used to paint model horses, and I had the whole deal. I had an airbrush, the pastels, the pigments. I don't have that set up anymore, but I do have a fair majority of horses that I kind of like prepped and painted base coats on, and then never did any of the markings. So I have all my oil paintings. Don't think I have the pigments I once did, but I'm on very much limited space. I used to actually have like a whole little area that had my whole airbrush set up, the whole thing. I definitely don't have that here, but you know, I'm gonna try it. And a few of my pieces, because a lot of people don't realize there's a whole nother world out here with the live model horse shows and everything. A few of my art pieces that I painted myself qualified for national championships. It has definitely been a hot minute. I'm just trying to think of small things that I can continue to do. Horses, as a professional in this industry, I really do not want to bank all of my life on horses. I think a lot of people you see do it, and then you also see these professionals and everything go to these horse shows, and then an injury or something happens, and then they're stuck in a wheelchair for the rest of their life, but they've committed too much to horses, and they're literally like, they have nothing. It's horrible. And so I don't want to put all my eggs in a basket with horses. I do not trust horses. We all see it. They don't really want to live all the time. So yeah, I'm always looking for ways to continue to grow, and then smaller things that I can do that will also feed into larger business ventures. That's really hard to say my Invisaligns. Trying to think of like small things, like any money I can get to help pay off an editor, or any money I can get to put towards a higher quality horse to get to purchase to sell later on. Like everything in my brain, I'm just constantly looking for ways to make money, and I've always been like this. So we're gonna go to Michael's. I need to go to a shoe store because I'm supposed to be going to a party and I can't wear my heels, so come on along. It's time for me to get ready to go do my barn, but I wanted to show you guys what I was able to get done. I got a little angry at my other one and decided to just scrap it and start a whole new model, so that's always fun. This is what I've gotten done so far. Front part of it's way more done, as you can see, and then the back part I'm starting to map out kind of where I want to go. I'll probably take the white down the hind leg a little bit, but yeah, this is the most tedious process when it comes to painting. And then I have this whole side that's blank, and I'll probably do some other fun little things just doing paints. I kind of like to paint paints even though they take a really long time. I have to go do my barn. Don't know if I'm going to play with this again tonight. I think I'll start doing this before I go to sleep, because it's just like a good way for me not to be looking at my phone all the time, and then also doing something that can benefit me. But it really does pick up on the fact that I do have a hand tremor. I notice it sometimes, but definitely these finer details, it makes my hands shake a lot. So it's a little difficult to keep a steady constant when your hand's shaking, but you know, we make it work. Friday, which I can't believe that because I hardly know what day it is anymore. It ended up raining a little bit last night. My ring is probably too wet to ride today. It is what it is. I'll probably maybe do some EcoCore hand walking. I haven't quite decided. We will see. So I should be able to ride tomorrow. It's just kind of rained again this morning, and it was foggy, so nothing's really drying. But you know, I try and not get as hung up as I used to on it, because if I get really hung up about things I can't control, like my ring being wet, even though it was kind of my fault. I needed to rake it, and then I didn't have time to rake it, so it kind of got built up. So it is my fault, but I can't control it now. So I try and like forget about it, or else I get really
upset about it, so out my head. I am currently watching the Land Rover event and working through some things. I got a good deal of like invoices done this morning, trying to figure out how to pay off my credit card, which is very big. Now I'm working on my 6th chapter to send off to my editor. It's been a lot of fun actually doing the editing process chapter by chapter, because I think that I can kind of see like what I need to improve, opposed to just sending out my novel as a whole at the end. I think when I get something back that's like 75,000 words and you have to do all the editing, it's really daunting, versus getting things back on more like a weekly scale or 4 days. It's not as terrifying and definitely doesn't make me go like, oh, because my other novel I haven't even touched because it's just like so much. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna format this. I'm not really certain what I'm gonna do the rest of the day. I realized that I did not do anything for the day, and I needed to also film something for the end. So it's Sunday, and admittedly today was not a good day. So it rained this morning, just fine. I don't really do well on super rainy days just because, I don't know, there's just something about it. I partially think it's because it messes up like my schedule, and I really am a person who's like every single day, this needs to happen at this time, this needs to happen at this time. Like, I don't know when I became such a person that's like that, but I have. It's just how I am. And so I think that's one of the reasons I don't like rain, is like I can't wake up and like put my horses outside and then do this during a certain time and then bring my horses in and then ride, and then I think it just messes things up, and I don't like it. I decided to put my horses outside, which ended up not being such a great idea because Sloan ran around and slipped and fell. He seems to be fine. He was a little weird when he got up, but then he was fine afterwards when he decided to run more, so, and he's walking fine and he doesn't have any heat or swelling. We'll see how that goes, but I just always laugh. I'm like, I try and do things in my mind for them so they can go outside and like not be stuck in a stall all day, and then they do things like that and you're like, should I ever let you outside again? I figured I'd record something, and at the end of this I'm probably gonna have like a recap of what I did this week. Admittedly, this was not a great week for me. I really have not had the best week, but you know, it's 1 week and hopefully the rest of this week will be much better, but you never know. But I can show one thing that I've done, which I have been working really hard on this. So yeah, this side is pretty much close to being done with the painting, and then I'm starting a side next, and yeah, it's going well. It's giving me a feeling like I've accomplished something. And I think that's really the biggest thing for me. I like to feel like I'm at least doing something, and this is kind of giving me an excuse to do something and not look at the computer or get really caught up in certain things. And yeah, this has just been a little bit of a, I don't know, it's just been a week. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. I try and be very honest and open with my feelings and myself, and just kind of give you guys a glimpse of my life. And yeah, you know, not every week's your week, but you just keep pushing forward and then hope that the next week is your week. So I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Bye.